Okay, kita continue for chapter 5. Tapi I tak nak habiskan semua ni hari ni. So probably kita akan habis awal Tak apa kan habis awal?
Tak apa, madam. Boleh.
Tak apa, madam.
Apa, madam? Boleh je.
Okay, sebab nanti hari Khamis kita akan cover all this particular chapter. Just to let you know beforehand, hari Khamis tu make sure you have a calculator ready with you. Tak kisahlah calculator tu your handphone ke apa ke, janji yang boleh calculate. Okay, sebab nanti dia ada this particular chapter, it will involve with a simple calculation, but you need to understand what to calculate and how to calculate. Okay, I try to make sure that you understand untuk calculation for this particular chapter, sebab kalau dulu saya mengajar kalau dekat kalau you dekat kampus senang ada apa tu whiteboard boleh conteng, yang ni nak conteng dekat sini boleh lah saya tulis dekat PowerPoint ni, cuma nanti kan tulisan entah apa-apa. Okay, so difference between pH and acidity. Okay, so we already covered for pH and what will be the effects of pH towards the food products if let's say we do not maintain in terms of the pH range. Alright, then selepas ni we are going to total acidity and there will be some simple calculation for total acidity. Okay, so total acidity and pH, they do not correlate with one another. Meaning that if let's say you kata the pH of the product is very acid, okay, is going towards the acid region. You tak boleh kata, oh dia punya total acidity dia mesti tinggi. Tak boleh It's not like that. Alright, so the differences of total acidity and pH measurement, the titration of acidity, it measures the total of hydrogen ion concentration, whereby this particular ion, dia akan measure those hydrogen ion that is already released from other molecules and together with the hydrogen ion that is still attached to the anion. Okay, maksudnya total acidity ni dia measure untuk hydrogen ion that is already free. Okay, satu, and the other one yang still attached dengan anion. Okay, so for this particular titration, it measure how many hydrogen ion could react. Sebab dia measure semua hydrogen ion yang ada dekat dalam solution tu. Tapi untuk pH measurement, it only measure the hydrogen ion that is already dissociated, maksudnya that is already free, dia dah break free, dia dah tak attach dengan mana-mana molekul. Okay, so that are dissociated and floating around in the solution. Bila kita nak measure pH, selalunya this particular material need to be in solution. Walaupun kamu punya material tu contoh katalah buah ke apa ke, you need to make sure that your material is in solution form so that you are able to measure the pH. Okay. And for this particular pH measurement, it measure how many hydrogen ion that is ready to react. Kenapa ready to react? Sebab hydrogen ion tu already free. Dia dah break free from the anion. Okay, maksudnya dia dah ready nak react dengan molekul lain. Tapi kalau untuk total acidity ni, kita lump sum. How the concentration of hydrogen ion that is still attached to the anion and is already free. So it is a matter of measurement how many hydrogen ion could react with the other molecules. Okay, so for pH and acidity, pH basically it is the scale is logarithmic, okay, whereby it having the inverse relationship with the hydronium ion concentration. And acidity is the degree of acidic property for that particular system. Okay, sebab kita measure semua hydrogen ion dekat dalam solution tadi. For this pH, it is a quantitative measurement whether that particular material is acidic ataupun basic ataupun alkaline. Kalau untuk acidity, total acidity, basically it is quantitative as well. Tapi it is more towards the qualitative indication for the food material. Okay, it is a qualitative measurement of acidic properties of a solution. And remember untuk acidity kita tak boleh tahu sama ada produk tu alkaline, sama ada produk tu alkaline ataupun tak. Tapi untuk pH boleh sebab kita ada scale, that particular scale. For pH, basically they are not having any unit. Bila kita cakap pH 1, dan satulah, tak ada pula pH 1 gram per mil, tak ada unitless ataupun dimensionless. Ini sepatutnya you all dah belajar dalam food engineering, okay? Unitless, dimensionless. Okay, sepatutnya the word is dimensionless, not unitless. Tapi tak apalah, mana-mana lah. Okay, untuk acidity, it is being measured in mole per liter units. Right, and for pH, it indicates whether that particular solution is acidic ataupun alkaline. And this particular acidity, I dah bagi tahu tadi, it cannot indicate whether that particular solution it goes into the alkalinity region. Okay, so method of measurement for acidity, basically untuk beverages lah. For this acidity, biasanya kita akan kira untuk beverages, even solid food products pun kita buat juga sebenarnya. Tapi this particular total titratable acidity is very famous for the beverages industry as well, because they need to cater for the pH as well as total acidity, as well as for yelah tak apalah, food products lah. Okay, so for our food, we do not know the exact type of foods and the amount of type of acid. Okay, contoh macam apple kita ada malic acid, tapi dalam apple tu juga ada different types of acid juga. Okay, tapi kita tak boleh nak tahu the exact percentage of malic acid dekat dalam apple juice tu, contoh dalam apple juice. We do not know what will be the exact percentage of specific acids. Okay, so apa yang kita boleh buat? Selalunya kita akan quantify when we do acidity, total titratable acidity, biasanya kita akan quantify based on predominant acids that contain in food products. Okay, contohnya when we talk about orange juice. Orange juice, the predominant acid is citric acid. Okay, and then if let's say we have apple juice, the predominant acid is malic acid. Okay, of course dalam fruit juice tu juga ada acid yang lain, tapi kita tak boleh nak we cannot take into consideration those small percentage of acid. Selalunya untuk acidity, it goes back to the predominant acids that contain in that particular food products. Alright, so the practice of this acidity is to measure the acid by lumping they all together as they are in solution. Then some measurement will be taken and we will relate this particular value of acidity based on the characteristics of that particular food. Okay, so untuk food product, this one I mentioned dah tadi, banyak kali dah mention. Okay, bila kita nak measure the acidity, ada dua cara, satu by using pH meter and the other one is total titratable acidity. So pH meter kita dah cover, so yang ini kita akan cover untuk total titratable acidity. Okay, contoh acidity of fruit juice, this one based on total titration. Okay, so orange juice, the acids, titration, it gives you percentage of 11.8%. Okay, the acidity. And then untuk pomegranate juice, it gives you around 16%. Okay, when we talk about 11.8%, yang ini biasanya we are referring to the predominant acid. Okay, macam contoh orange juice, predominant acid, citric acid. So 11.8%, this one basically it reflected the percentage of citric acid dekat dalam beverage tu. Okay, and then untuk acidity for dairy product, contohnya macam yogurt. Yogurt ada lactic acid. Okay, so kebiasaannya dia punya value is around 0.9 to 1%. It should be more than 0.9%. So it indicates for the lactic acid. Alright, and then untuk acidity dalam vinegar. Okay, acidity dalam vinegar tadi dah bagi contoh whereby US FDA dah bagi range kan untuk vinegar, it's supposed to be in between, this one I'm talking about natural vinegar, it's supposed to be in between 4 to 8%. Alright, so bila kita test untuk vinegar, if let's say it exceed 8%, then probably it is a synthetic vinegar. Okay, contoh, because remember just now I show you the slide whereby synthetic vinegar, it can go up until 12%. Okay, I remember lah ada sekali tu I bagi sampel untuk lab food quality control. I bagi sampel to the student untuk buat total titratable acidity for vinegar. Dia all tuang banyak sangat sodium hydroxide. Tak neutral juga that particular solution. Sebab apa tu, the percentage of acidity is very high. Okay, so total acidity ataupun titratable acidity, basically all food will contain acids or mixture of acids, and organic acid basically they are present in fruits and vegetables, whereby it will influence in terms of the flavor, of the color, the stability, the texture, as well as keeping quality. Okay, contoh macam buah lah. If let's say that particular fruit is already ripen kan, so pH dia is less acidic. Jadi it is susceptible to spoilage because of the attack from the enzyme ke ataupun pest infestation ke. So that one goes back to the pH as well as titratable acidity. Okay, these acids it may occur naturally. Naturally tu contoh macam fermentation process. Okay, fermentation process memang akan ada natural acid that is going to have inside that particular product through the action of microorganism. Okay, contohnya macam dalam yogurt lah. Alright, or it can be added in ketchup or chili sauce during the manufacturing process, because acid ni contoh bila when we talk about ketchup, tomato ketchup or chili sauce, memang dalam buah tu originally they already present certain type of acid. Okay, but then when it undergo processing, some of the acid, the ratio and the percentage of the acid will be altered due to the processing. Okay, jadi masa production memang they all akan tambah acid, some types of acid, because one is for the texture and the other one is for the stability, and last but not least of course in terms of the consistency of the taste. Okay, so that's why you akan rasa contoh macam tomato ketchup, you beli 10 tahun lepas dengan tahun ni for the same brand, not different brand, the taste is similar. And kalau you tengok dekat dalam list of the ingredients tu, they all sometimes you akan it happen, you ada list of ingredient tu you akan nampak dia tulis dekat situ pH regulator. Okay, yang itu whereby they add purposely added acid in order to maintain the consistency as well as the quality, the keeping quality of that particular product. Okay, so the acid that present in that particular product, basically they are responsible for the sour flavor ataupun kita panggil tartness, tart, dia rasa masam lah. Okay, so total acid is usually determined by titrating an aliquot of sample with a base. So normally kita akan titrate pakai sodium hydroxide. Nanti if you got the time, can you please take a look in YouTube how to do or how to perform total titratable acidity. Okay, sama je, you ada flask, conical flask, letak you punya fruit juice ke dekat dalam conical flask tu, and then letak phenolphthalein, a few drops of phenolphthalein, and then you ada burette, you fill up the burette with sodium hydroxide, then you titre. So bila you titre, you need to titre until you achieve the colour. Kalau neutral, you all pernah buat tak untuk neutrality? If let's say the product, kalau dalam food chemistry kan sepatutnya ada. If let's say when you titre and ada phenolphthalein, what will be the colour that you supposed to achieve in order for you to determine you already achieve the neutrality? Tahu tak? The endpoint. Kita panggil endpoint lah, endpoint. Tahu tak what will be the colour? Bila you ada phenolphthalein tu, what will be the colour of the solution that you must get?
Pink.
Pink purple.
Pink purple. Okay, pink tu suppose dia kena retain for how many seconds?
3
3 second? Suppose suppose dalam around 6 seconds lah So and bukannya strong pink tau. Sebab kan selalu you all, bila you all title, alamak dah terlebih dan you kena title lagi sekali. Tak boleh. It's supposed to be a very light pink, but then that particular pink colour, the faded pink colour should retain for at least 6 seconds. Lepas tu dia hilang. Okay. Memang selalu student kadang-kadang tak sabar kan. Title laju-laju. Turun dan lepas tu dah jadi strong pink colour. Yang itu salah lah. So you kena title. And kena tahu juga while you are titrating. Dia sebenarnya kalau nantilah if let's say after this you have the opportunity to do titrating practice untuk you buat sendiri seorang, tangan kiri you sebenarnya you need to control the flow of the liquid. Tangan kanan you kena swirl the flask sampai you nampak that particular faded pink that can retain for at least 6 seconds. And masa ini just bagi tahu dekat you all lah. And masa buat titration tu, you tak perlu nak hiraukan that volume of sodium hydroxide sebab you dah tahu what will be the starting point, and then bila end point you achieve end point, then you boleh baca that volume berapa. Okay, yang tu guna kaedah tolak je lah. Contohnya starting point you 10, end point you dapat dekat 16. So 16 tolak 10, 6 ml of sodium hydroxide required to achieve end point. Okay, so in the ease of highly coloured product, okay, contohnya macam tomatoes ke ataupun grape juice ke, selalunya yang tu very strong colour, memang susah kita nak nampak end point. So kalau dalam lab you all memang kita tak bagilah you all contoh produk yang tu sebab susah untuk you all nak nampak end point. So basically kalau dalam food industry when they are dealing with this kind of sample, okay, high coloured products, selalunya they all akan guna electronic method. Memang ada electronic method. So memang dalam lab tu saja nak susahkan you all lah buat manual. Okay, sebenarnya bila you pergi industri memang ada digital method. Tapi masa I join my industry back then still pakai manual method. Okay, so total acid may be expressed in 3 bases. Ada 3 asas untuk kita express for this particular total acidity. Okay, so the first one is ml of 0.1 normal NaOH sodium hydroxide per 100 ml of sample. Okay, ml per milliliter, maksudnya per volume. That one, the first one is according to the volume. The second one is according to the weight. Okay, so as grammage of acid in sample. Alright, and then the third one is percentage of acid in sample aliquot. Okay, so ada 3 The first one is according to the volume, ml of 0.1 normal NaOH. And this particular 0.1 normal NaOH ni memang digunakan untuk neutralize the solution. Okay, bukan not a different concentration. Basically that is the concentration to use to neutralize the solution. Okay, so the second one is based on weight, gram of acid, and the third one is percentage of acid. Okay, so sebenarnya ada formula to calculate for this particular each basis, how you want to express the result, sama ada dari segi volume ke, berat ke ataupun percentage. Okay, and this particular equation you kena tahu how to calculate this particular value. Okay, so that's why nanti you need to have a calculator. Okay, so untuk the first one, when you want to express your result as ml of 0.1 normal NaOH per 100 ml of sample, so equation dia, okay, A will be result you lah, maksudnya ml of 0.1 normal NaOH per 100 ml of sample. Okay, how you want to calculate is by B 100 ml, okay, 100 ml times by 100 ml tu fix lah, the value is 100 ml times by C, C maksudnya volume untuk sodium hydroxide yang kita titrate tadi. Contoh macam tadi I bagi example dekat you all kan, the volume of sodium hydroxide, the volume of sodium hydroxide required to achieve neutrality is 6 ml, 6 ml. So C tu is 6. So 100 kali 6. Contoh divide by D, volume of sample used. Berapa sample, volume of sample that you use? 20 ml ke, 30 ml ke, 50 ml ke? So divide by that one. So you will get your value as milliliter of 0.1 normal NaOH per 100 ml of sample. Okay, this one is the first expression to write the result. Okay, the second one is based on grammage of acid in sample liquid. Okay, weight is W lah, weight berat. Okay, equals to V is a volume. Kejap, yang ni dia ada, tak apa, I bagi tahu dulu. V is a volume of sodium hydroxide yang kita guna to achieve neutrality, and is the concentration of sodium hydroxide, normally is 0.1 normal. Okay, and then MEQ weight is the milli equivalent weight. Okay, milli equivalent weight, this one memang akan milli equivalent of acid, and you are going to be given with this value. Maksudnya you tak perlu hafal this value. Milli equivalent weight, this one it goes to the specific type of acid that we are dealing with. Okay, so the equivalent weight of a chemical element is the gram atomic weight divided by its valence. Alright, yang ni boleh baca sendiri. So dalam milli equivalent of acid ni, different type of acid, they will have different value of milli equivalent weight. So you kena tahu, dalam soalan tu is referring to which type of acid, okay, and then berapa, what will be the value of milli equivalent weight for that particular acid that is being given. Okay, sepatutnya ada jadual. Sekejap I tunjuk. Okay, this is the jadual milli equivalent factor, this one. Okay, contohnya if let's say we are dealing with orange juice contoh. So orange juice, predominant acid that present in orange juice is citric acid. Jadi dia punya milli equivalent factor adalah 0.064. Okay, I mention tadi, and I nak bagi tahu juga dekat you all lagi sekali, I stress out. Okay, this particular milli equivalent factor you tak perlu hafal. Okay, and the type of acid pun selalunya dalam soalan akan diberi. Okay, so information that supposed to be given to you for this particular question is the type of acid as well as the milli equivalent factor. Okay, and what will be the normality of sodium hydroxide is being used. Okay, ini sepatutnya tiga information ni sepatutnya akan diberi kepada you. Alright, tapi you kena tahu macam mana nak kira. That's the most important thing. Okay, so untuk grammage, it will be the volume times by normality times by milli equivalent weight. Okay, so nanti akan dapat berapa gram. Okay, kalau tak percaya, you try buat cancellation of the units, nanti memang akan dapat gram. Okay, and then last one lah because I punya battery laptop pun dah nak habis dah ni. Tak boleh nak charge sebab jauh I punya switch. Okay, percentage of acid in the sample liquid. Okay, yang ini kebiasaannya, I tak tahulah trend macam mana tapi soalan biasanya akan tanya you yang ini, kebiasaannya. Sebab yang ni macam susah sikit calculation dia untuk you all. Okay, so as percentage of acid in sample liquid, okay, Z, this one will be the percent of acid. Okay, so nak kira dia, okay, I ambil dekat sini. Kalau you all boleh nampak, I punya apa yang pen ni warna merah ni. Okay, sebenarnya yang atas ni V times N times milli equivalent weight, yang itu adalah sama dengan formula untuk kita nak kira grammage of acid tadi. Okay, tapi you kena tambah divide by Y. Y adalah volume in mil ataupun weight of that particular sample. Okay, sama ada you nak guna volume ataupun you nak express in weight, it's up to you. Okay, disebabkan kita ada percentage, of course you need to times by 100 sebab kita nak dapatkan percentage. So basically this particular percentage of acid adalah combination of grammage of acid, you need to times by 100, tapi jangan lupa you need to divide with the volume ataupun grammage of your sample weight. Alright, so ini saya dah tunjuk dah tadi for your milli equivalent factor. Jadi macam mana nak kira, cara nak kira, yang ini contoh macam mana nak kira, kita sambung hari Khamis. Boleh ke? Sebab bateri I sekejap lagi habis ni. Sekejap lagi ni. Boleh tak?
Boleh, madam. Boleh, madam.
Boleh Okay, so we end our meeting here. So hari Khamis, I will show you how to calculate that particular equation. how to solve the problem. Okay, it's very simple mathematics. You all ni semua pandai-pandai. So senang je tekan calculator tu. Okay, so before we end, do you have any question?
No, madam.
No, madam.
Okay, thank you very much for your participation. Thank you for your cooperation. Please fill up your attendance at 12. I need to prepare your attendance form dulu, okay? Okay, so
Okay.
thank you very much. So you can leave the meeting. Okay, thank you.
Bye, madam.
Thank you, madam.